Okay, yeah, let me take your observation.
Madam Speaker, my observation is that if you look at clause 66A, clause 66A, yes, second reading, a general debate on the bill with an opportunity for members to vote on its general principles. Go to 67(1). On a motion being moved that a bill be read a second time, the general merits and principles of the bill may be debated. So yes, but there is no voting here. We either have to debate before voting. There is no voting before voting. We have to debate the merits before we vote. That is what the standing order is asking us to do.
Madam Speaker, I have an observation.
Honorable member, we will take you, but just let us also take one by one. No, it's Upper Fulad.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. No, I think the honourable member for Woolly West is right. No, only that he omits to mention section 67(2), which says if the motion is carried. The motion is not carried yet, so it has to be carried before it's debated.
Yes, yes.
So this is the provisions. If you read section 67(1) on its own,
if the motion is
carried, a debate can be entertained.
Point of correction, madam. Point of correction.
I want to observe, Madam Speaker. Yes.
Somebody is. You see, honorable member for Sabasanja, if you raise your tag, allow the chair to give you the floor. Otherwise, I will not know from which end it's coming from. Yes, Sabasanja.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I just want to take cue of the bills, the various bills that are passed in this parliament. The practice has been, when the second reading is made, the general merits and principle of the bill will be debated. And after the debate, votes will be taken. So why this time, we are trying to take the vote before the debate? That has been the practice always. You can all be a witness for that.
My honorable members, my concern is I tend to, I'm not saying I agree 100% with honorable member for Sabasanja, but I am just going by precedent. What has been going on since the coming into force of the standing orders? Bills have been introduced into this National Assembly. We've taken the second reading, debated on it before a vote is taken. That had been the practice. Unless I am convinced that that practice was not correct as per the standing orders, otherwise...
Madam Speaker...
Point of observation, Madam Speaker, I don't think that practice can be wrong. Point of observation, Honorable Speaker. Let me just help.
Members, if we start shouting, then probably I will have to suspend the sitting for 10-15 minutes, consult with my technical team and come back.
Honorable Speaker,
I cannot allow, honorable members, order. We cannot allow everybody shouting at the same time. Then we will not make any progress. we will not make any progress, and it doesn't help the situation. Let's exercise decorum, please, and just let's share the views, the different points of view, and then we do the right thing, period. But as I said, let's also be mindful of what had been going on before. How were we processing our bills?
Madam Speaker, can I make an observation? Please, you give us also a chance to observe, please.
Honorable Speaker, can I observe?
Honorable Speaker, can I observe, please?
There is no discrepancy in this. We agree, we debate. We don't agree, we don't debate.
Sorry, honorable members, let's debate on the merits, and we will take a second look at these two clauses and then do the right thing.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker,
Unless you want to
Honorable Speaker,
Please, can we do debate?
Honorable Speaker,
No debate until our observation is heard. No debate until our observation is heard.
Please, honorable members, you are all parliamentarians and we are honorable members. Please.
Point of observation, Honorable Speaker.
Madam Speaker, until you allow our observation, please allow us to make an observation. Since others make observation, allow us to make observation.
Honorable Speaker, it's either we debate
We are
or
going
we
to
will not
debate.
debate.
Honorable Speaker, it's not by force to debate. A motion was put on the floor, it wasn't carried. We have to complete the voting.
Observation, Madam Speaker.
Respect. Honorable nominated member, I think you are out of order. You cannot know.
Exactly the same thing the other honorable members are doing.
Order, please. Please, Honorable Jaite, nominated member, I am referring to you, and I think you are out of order. If you want to take the floor, all you need, raise your floor. Yes, I think that, no, I have not given you the floor yet. I have not given you the floor. What do you do? Your mic is on. Please, your mic is on. Raise your tags. I will try to be fair, give everybody who wants to make an observation before I take a ruling. But we cannot be shouting right, left, and center sitting. That is not correct, and I will not allow that. So please, let's exercise decorum. We will take as many observations as possible before I take a decision. Period. But I mean, we're not at the marketplace. Please, let us exercise decorum. Now, the first observation, the first tag that I observed was from Honorable Member for Badibu, Central Badibu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you,
Just
Madam
a second. We will take all the observations, and then I will make a ruling. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think the essence of having motions in the Parliament is for members to decide. A motion is put before us. So if there is division, it's very clear. Members say no. They don't want to continue with the matter. Then we have to put it to the vote. If majority say no, we are not going to move with this issue, it should be dropped. It's simple. And if you go to section clause 61 of our standing order, it said 1. When the motion has been moved and seconded in the assembly, the speaker shall put the question there unto the assembly in the same terms as the motion. Debate may then take place upon the question and may continue so long as any member wishes to speak, who is entitled to do so. So now it's put to us and we say no. So who are you to force us? Let us put it to vote. If you win, we continue. If we win, we stop. That means majority don't want it to move. It's very simple.
There was observation from this. There was somebody else. Who else? There was somebody, yes, Birkama South. No, Bundu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if we are to continue without voting, what is the need to put the question? Honorable Speaker, the standing order is very clear. We cannot say this has been the norm here. Standing Order 67. Board 1 and 2 is very, very clear, Honorable Speaker. We cannot talk about no. We have a standing order. Just because, yes, that is standing order 67, 1 and 2. Do you understand? So we cannot put a blind eye on this, and we say that this has been the norm here. I mean, we should be guided by this, but not norm or whatsoever, Honorable Speaker. Please, let us do what our standing order asks us to do. What it dictates. Thank you very much.
I'm still on the observations. No, Cantora, you are on the list, but not now. Please allow me to follow my list. Honorable Member for Basse. Do it in order. And
thank you very much.
Basse.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Honorable members, I want to make an appeal to honorable members. It's true that clause 67 of the standing orders 2 did indicate if the motion is carried, then the debate will follow on the general merits. So what I am looking for, the appeal that I want to post before you, is to allow the motion to be carried. Do you know why? What is in you, we don't know. What is in us, you don't know. But if we discuss on the general merits, it doesn't mean that if we allow the motion to be carried, it doesn't mean that the motion is being passed. The third reading will come. That's where the decision will be taken. But this was to give us rooms so that we learn from each other. You know, whoever, you have something to teach us, isn't it? So as far as we want to teach each other, if you don't create the ground, we don't teach each other. So I am making an appeal so that we allow the motion to be carried, so that we teach each other. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I'm rising on a point of order. I'm rising on a point of order, Madam Speaker. I'm rising on a point of order. I'm rising on a point of order, Madam Speaker. Can you? I'm rising on a point of order. But this is my right, Madam Speaker. Will you allow me to raise my order?
Madam Speaker, use your mic, please. Your mic, please.
Please, honorable members, I am appealing. Let us be orderly. Each and every honorable member who wants to take the floor will be given the opportunity. I am not going to deny anybody the opportunity, but I think the decorum also ought to be respected. We cannot be shouting from right, left, and center, banging our tables, you know, sitting down, saying whatever we want to say, having private discussions. No, please, it has to be one meeting. Let's follow the procedures, and we will get to it at the end of the day. I'm just appealing, please, let's exercise decorum. Thank you. Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you, Madam
Your observation. Observation.
Yeah, in fact, I just want to buttress on the standing order 67. Now, if we are to read it thoroughly and for the betterment of understanding and the smooth running of our own affairs, this is very simple. It says, on a motion being moved that a bill be read a second time, the general merits and principles of the bill may be debated. Listen. It's very simple. This is very simple to understand. May be debated is not also telling us that should not be debated. Okay? So we are going by this. If we agreed, which we are all up for, according to the standing order, let's allow the debate to take on. If you go to 2, it said if the motion is carried, that is if. So if the motion is carried, but already it is moved to be read, and we allowed the reading of, no, excuse me, we allowed the debate to take place. So there's no need to have that push and pull. I mean, this is business. So thank you very much.
I think we take one more, then we make it.
Nyamina East. Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think we are in order. We are recording from the past that the bills or the motions that were one time debated here, they were carried, there was no argument that members will be saying yes or no. That is why straight away these motions or bills were debated without any argument. So in this case, the section is very clear. Section 67 of the standing order 2 is clearly indicating a motion has already been moved by your very self, Honorable Speaker. The best practice, no, listen, I am saying the question is already been moved by your very self, Honorable Speaker. The question, I mean. So the best thing for us to do is to take the votes. Hence, a division is being called. If we agree that the motion will continue on the merit, so be it. If we don't agree, then we see what other things can we do. But in as much as the votes are not taken, then we don't know our standpoint. That must be taken at the first place. Thank you.
Papa Salum.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think, Honorable Speaker, we just need to, try to maintain decorum in this parliament, because we are all mature people and the entire world is watching us. And again, I think the parliament of this country, actually, for a long time, it's true pictures in terms of discipline. I think the other parliaments are talking about it. So I think it's better for us to try to maintain that decorum and just ensure we take our turn by turn so that we can actually argue properly about the merits or the demerits of what we are trying to do. Honorable Speaker, I want to refer you first. Why do we have the stages of these bills? The first stage, first reading, why do we have a second reading, and why do we have a third reading? The reason why we want to have the second reading, according to our standing order, is very straightforward. You want to determine the merits, whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. That's all you are trying to do in the second reading. We want to determine whether what we are trying to do makes sense or if it doesn't make sense, and if it doesn't make sense, you can throw it away. Now, how can you know whether it makes sense when you have not actually debated it? Now, Honorable Speaker, you know what we are trying to do? You are trying to get the sense out of what the Honorable Member for Body was trying to do. You are trying to get sense out of it. Let's understand from all sides whether this actually makes sense for us to move on or it doesn't make actual sense. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is, what we are trying to do, if we do not hear the merits, Honorable Speaker, if we do not give ourselves a chance to hear the merits, it's tantamount to organizing a naming ceremony before a baby is born. Let's hear the merits of this particular bill. And finally, Honorable Speaker, the clause 65, which is the first reading, on clause 65, which a bill may be introduced by the person in the charge of the bill, 66, following the first reading, the stages in the assembly of the bill shall be, then you go A, second reading, a general debate on the bill without opportunity for, a bill has been, shall be introduced by the person in charge of the bill by handing over a copy of the bill. Now, in subsequent stages, like stage 2, it says it may be debated. Honorable Speaker, it says the bill may be debated. That means that the onus is actually on you to allow a debate to continue or not to allow debate to continue. But the onus is on you.
Honorable Member for Ilyasa? No? Okay, Kantora?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, our standing order is very, very clear. The rationale behind Section 67 is for the mover to move a motion that the bill be read a second time. When it's read the second time, it just gives the leverage for members to be opportune to speak on the merits and principle. It goes further, Section 67(2), that having exhausted those merits and principle, then there will be a question that will be put to the entire House. Do you agree this particular motion, having been debated on the merit and principle, be carried or not? Then it has given us the latitude or the leverage discuss, and members have been saying different opinion, that will really form a decision to carry the motion here. Intervention by members on the merits and principles, then will direct the voting patterns of the members in parliament. Then therefore, section 7.2, clause 7.2 will apply. Then it will now give us that conscience. Either this motion is worth carrying or not. But we didn't even put the debate yet. People didn't air out their opinion. It's one thing. It's either we suspend the debate and go to committee stage. Because if you are saying that we are going to debate, it means that we are only saying that we are suspending the debate on the principles. If that is what members are agitating for. If not, right now, the clause of the 67 of section 2 says that after discussing, deliberating, then the speaker will put the question again for us to carry the motion, having moved by the member of law body. Are we going to move on that to vote after hearing different opinions? Then that section applies. But if they are stopping us from debating the merits and principle, how do we arrive this thing? However, I think it's either we suspend the debate.
I think you've made your point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable member for Serekunda. But honorable members, I just want to draw your attention. Let us all bear in mind that we are dealing specifically with bills as opposed to motions. Let us also bear that in mind in our arguments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The whole purpose of the exercise is to ensure that our standing orders guide our activities. Honorable Speaker, the issue before us is about bills. And it is clearly stipulated on the Standing Order 66, the stages of a bill. It tells us that following the first reading, of course, after the first reading, we know that we move to the second stage. But if we put an end at the first reading and say we stop there, then the business of the state will cease. That is not rational. That is why our standing orders is very clear on the stages. These are the stages that it should take. It says that the second reading, a general debate on the bill with an opportunity for members to vote on the general principles. You go to the next stage, we vote on the general principles. You can say, no, we can even reject the general principle, but does not stop the process from continuing. The process must still go to the other stages. And the other stages is, we may commit the stage, detailed investigation into the bill, etc. We commit it. And then we go to the next stage, consideration stage. Then the third reading, passing or rejecting the bill without further amendment. So it is the third stage that we can reject, that we don't have to go any further. It is clearly stipulated that at the third stage, we may continue, we may reject. So, Honorable Speaker, there is absolutely no doubt that the issue of 67 and 61 simply tells us what should happen. That there must be a secondment of a motion, if there is a motion. But look at this motion regarding the bill. The motion is for the second reading, and that is seconded. So should we, as National Assembly members, block that? We should not go to the next stage when our standing orders is saying, following first reading, the stages in the Assembly's consideration of bill shall be, that's third person. Shall be means that it must go through all the stages. Which lawyer on this earth will question what is clearly stipulated here? Second stage, that following first reading, the stages in the Assembly's consideration of a bill shall be. So, Honorable Speaker, that's just emphasis for everybody to hear that.
He cannot.
The grammatical ordinary meaning of shall be is a command of a standing order. It must go through those stages. And Honorable Speaker, we are just simply drowning each other's senses. And that's what we should not do. We are trying to help each other to understand what we should do. And my last submission, Honorable Speaker, is 67. Honorable Speaker, 67, on a motion being moved that a bill be read a second time, the general merits and principles of the bill may be debated. Yes, if you introduce a motion that let's refer it to something, we may consider the motion that a member makes without notice. That is possible. That's why it's not saying shall, because it's left to us to see whether we can have a motion for something else to be done. So, Honorable Speaker, 67(2) is saying if the motion is carried, which motion? Ask yourself the question, which motion is being said here? The clerk shall read out the short title of the bill and shall declare it to have been read a second time. That is after the debate. The clerk will read that it has been read a second time. That is, Honorable Speaker, it is saying, if the motion is carried, which motion? After the second, when it says the second, it says 66, it says, following the first reading, the stages in the Assembly's consideration of the bill shall be the second reading, a general debate on the bill with an opportunity for members to vote on the general principles. That is, when that vote is carried, then the reading comes. When the vote is carried after the debate, then it is accepted. The clerk will read that it has been read a second time. That is the correct interpretation of this provision.
Members, at this stage, I am not taking the correct position, so otherwise I am taking observations from honorable members so that at the end of the day, honorable member for Buchanan North, please don't allow me to, don't let me, get out of my patience and exercise, please. The essence is for me to take as many observations as possible so that we'll do the right thing. So please, let us all exercise decorum, as I said earlier on. Nominated member, Honorable Jaite, please.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, my apologies for being out of order, but I just can't help it when injustice is being defended. Sometimes it's necessary to get out of order. Honorable Speaker, what is in our laws is very, very, very
Sorry,
very
can I check you? Did you say justice out of order or what? Please, can you withdraw, if that was what you said?
No, Honorable Speaker, I don't think you are listening to me properly.
If you said justice out of order, I would demand that be withdrawn before we proceed.
She did not even hear what I said, Honorable Speaker.
I will demand
I said if injustice is being defended, I can't help but get out of order.
Standing, we have to exercise decorum. We have parliamentary decorum.
Honorable
We can't be shouting. You wouldn't like it if somebody interrupts you now that you are on your feet. You wouldn't like it. So let's also allow others to be on their feet uninterrupted. Please.
Honorable Speaker, to me the law is very, very clear. There are processes and procedures that have to be followed. There are processes in this parliament. The reason why the motion or the question was put to us is for us to decide whether we want to debate on the merits of this bill or not. If we do not want to debate on the merits of this bill, no one can force us to debate on the merits of this bill. Sometimes it is res ipsa liquido, the thing speaks for itself. If we look at the bill, if we look at the bill from the first reading, Honorable Speaker, I think other members are getting out of order. Maybe we should call them out too. If we look at the objects of the bill through the first reading, and it speaks for itself that it is not worth considering the merits of the bill, we have every right not to entertain entertain the debate. It is our right.
Point of order. Point of order, ma'am.
For the question to
Point of order.
put to us, to ask us whether
Point
we
of
want
order.
to debate or not.
Honorable
That
Speaker,
would be
point of
real.
order.
Why are we being
Order. Point of
Why are we
order.
being asked? It has been the process of this
Point of
Parliament
order,
to
Madam
ask
Speaker.
us whether we want to debate or not. Why is the question being put? It's very simple. Why would anyone put a question to ask you what your opinion is if that is not even necessary in the first place? Why are we being asked to vote whether we want to entertain a debate or not?
Speaker, point of order, please.
If you are so convinced that
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
then vote. Let's put this to a vote. The question, Honorable Speaker, I think the question is on the floor and there is a division and we should go through the entire process before we entertain anything, and the law is very clear as it stands and no other interpretation can change it. Thank you.
The law. Read the standing orders.
Why are we afraid to debate on this issue? Let us just debate. Don't you have anything substantial to say? We have to debate. Why are you afraid to debate? There is a reason. Only be done.
Are we sorry, are we all aware of the fact that the what is it, what do you call it again? The bill has not been read a second time? It has not been read a second time. We will have an opportunity. It is the clerk who will read the bill a second time. It is the clerk, not honorable members. So, no, I'm just slotting in these issues so that you will avert your mind to them as well. Honorable member for Sabah Sanjal, can I hear your views?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I just want you to assert your position by observing clause 21. Because the behavior of members in at this right moment is unethical. We cannot accept that. And you have all the right you are given the right by the standing orders to invoke it and discipline them. Go to clause 21 up to clause 3. So that, no, Honorable Speaker.
Out of order. You can't do that. You can't do that. Honorable Speaker, to discipline him.
Go.
Please discipline him. This man is rude. Withdraw that. He has to withdraw that. He has to. Why?
Honorable, don't withdraw it.
Why, Honorable Member for September? Why?
And I will maintain it's unethical.
What I want is your observations.
Nobody is a child to you here. So if you are talking, you know what to say.
Honorable member for Banjul South. Banjul South. Please let us be civil in our language and
Madam
let us just calm down.
Don't withdraw.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think we are not being fair to the citizens of this country, Madam Speaker. Because when we come to this assembly, Madam Speaker, we should look at the interest of our citizens, not the interest of our political party.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order. Point of order. Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order.
You cannot say that. You cannot say that. You have no idea what the interests of the people are.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
You have no idea.
Point of order. No. I've had enough of this hypocrisy. I'm tired.
We have the interests of the people. We have the interests of the people. We have the interests of the people.
Madam Speaker.
We have the interests of the people.
When we amended Section 91, Madam Speaker, everyone was jumping.
Not everyone.
Madam Speaker,
Section 91 was abused by members like you.
Madam Speaker, are we honorable members or dishonorable members?
Honorable members, if you are not willing...
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order.
If honorable members are not willing to listen to the chair, then I will be forced to suspend the sittings. Yes, I'll be forced to suspend the sittings. Because
no problem, Madam Speaker, no problem.
This is not what I expect. This is not what I expect from honorable members. Not my honorable members. Anyway, this is not what I expect. So please, And Honorable Member for Banjul South, Honorable Member for Banjul South, I was trying to interrupt you, but you insisted on finishing your intervention. Not what I wanted to say was that the debate is the provisions of the standing orders. So please, whoever takes the floor, let it be on the standing orders and nothing else. So, Honorable Member for
Madam Speaker, sorry, you wanted to interrupt me, but how can I hear that if the floor was if the floor was not in order? I could not hear you.
Because you are out of order, Madam Honorable.
Lower Nyomi, please.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. We look to be drifting. I am speaking on the standing order of 67-2, which is conditional. If the motion is carried, how would you be able to determine the carrying of the motion which we have not voted upon it? How? You put the question whether it was accepted or not. You put it on 2 occasions. And in all these 2 occasions, you did observe that there was sort of a tie. There was a tie. And given that there was a tie, it was your decision next to put it to a vote, which you have not yet go to. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He's on his feet, please. Thank you. Sandu, you're done. Or not yet?
I think that was the observation I was making. Because this one is, if the motion is carried, if after debate, after the there is no after debate.
Thank you, thank you.
Are you coming to the
Thank you.
You cannot flout the standing orders.
No, Sandu.
Why are you happy to debate on this?
Birkama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is, yes, on the standing order, Madam Speaker, 67, where emphasis is made on the word may be debated. May be debated if the vote is put before us. Madam Speaker, if you take cognizance of first reading, it's not subjected to any voting. Now second reading is put to us to vote either to continue with it or not. If there is nothing of such,
Speaker, we have a Bible or a Quran to honor, and that's the standing orders. 67. Madam Speaker, standing order 67 is very clear. 67. And with your indulgence, it reads, on a motion being moved that a bill be read a second time, the general merits and principles of the bill may be debated. Madam Speaker, allow me to go into semantics. Yes, may and shall. Madam Speaker, in legal parlance, shall is mandatory. Madam Speaker, may, it means there is no hard and fast rule, is conditional. But Madam Speaker, we are not wrong when we put this motion into vote, we are not wrong. We are not wrong. And it does not mean that we are not honoring our Bible or our Quran. Madam Speaker, we are using our very own document, and that's a standing order. So, Madam Speaker, please let us vote. Thank you.
Motion.
Correction.
I have a motion, Honorable Speaker. Motion.
I'm not taking any more.
I have a motion.
Sorry, Lower Salum, and then I will take my decision. Lower Salum.
On a point of, on a motion, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker.
Members, you were given the opportunity. Many people had, many honorable members had an opportunity to make their observations. So I think it's equally fair to allow those of them who wish to make an observation to do so instead of putting in a motion in the middle of honorable members who wish to make their observations. Lower Salon.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Yes, I respect everybody's view here, but then President has been already set out, previous, Honorable Speaker. We, before you quoted Honorable Member for Woodley West, that is the chair of the standing order, advised us correctly. But today, the table goes round. What I'm saying here is, when we stop as at now, then there will be no proceedings in this chamber, because they will took that, how to call it, term, then there will be nothing will go through to this parliament. It's better we close the chamber then, because I know if this trend continues, there will be no second reading here. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, point of order, please.
President has been.
I have a motion, Honorable Speaker.
We have veterans, honorable members here that advise us correctly. Honorable Speaker, you are the chair. Honorable Speaker, you have all right and all powers to how to call it, to control the members.
Honorable Speaker.
Whoever's
Can the member talk on the standing orders, please?
Out of order.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Honorable Speaker, members, let them exercise decorum. It's very important.
I have a motion, Honorable Speaker.
I'm not taking any more motion. Members, please. I think I have taken enough interventions and observations.
Speaker, point of order.
So please, I am going to suspend this sitting for about 10 minutes, and we come back for a ruling. So sitting is suspended for 10 minutes, please.
interfering.
Thank And my daughter is older than mine.